Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today is raining, which I don't mind. I kind of like rain. It's making it a little colder outside and feel a little bit like more cuddly inside. I'm a fan of that. I have coffee. Today we're going to be doing my first part of my October wrap-up. I have a chunk of books here. I am trying to get through as many books as I can from publishers that I received over the year. Many of them that I received, I have already gotten through, and I've written to publishers to tell them. Some of them were not reviewed individually. I'm planning to get to several of them that will be reviewed individually with another review week in the coming month. Whether it's this month or next month, I'm not yet sure because I'm not sure. I'm going to try and figure that out. And then I'm hoping to do Vlogmas. Even though I won't be able to vlog the whole way through, I'm hoping to be able to do a video a day. But we shall see. I'm not promising anything because that's a lot for me. But I'm going to try. So let's dive in. The first book we have is Matthew Green, Aftershock. This is a book about PTSD in vets. And this broke my heart, because it's just so hard to take into consideration how much men give up when they go into war. I myself suffer from PTSD, and I can tell you firsthand that it's something that changes your whole life and being. And so these men who go into battle are not just giving up potentially their lives, they're giving up their mental lives as well, and it's terrifying. And we're not giving them enough credit for what they do, in terms of the mental factors. Especially one of our presidential candidates here in the US, he made a comment recently, and it shook me pretty bad because it was wrong, and it was disgusting. I'm going to do a full in-depth review on this, talking about PTSD, what it is, what it does, how it changes people, whether it's something you can recover from. This was sent to me by Granta Publishing, and I could not be more grateful. It is wonderful, and it's heartfelt and terrifying, and if you are curious about PTSD, this is an interesting place to start because it's kind of the more respected reasons for PTSD, if that makes sense. But even this is questioned, so we'll get into that in my full review of that. Next, we have Each Vagabond by Name. This is by Margot Orlando Little. This was sent to me by Uno Press, which is University of New Orleans. This is the story of two people, Stella and Ramsey. Ramsey is a former Vietnam vet, and Stella has a dark-seated past. And in their town, they are kind of outcasts, but not really, because they still have some respect. But there is a group of gypsies that are within the town limits, and the town is very much afraid of the elusive other and trying to control things, and things get out of hand and chaotic. This talks a lot about differences and pain and mental illness and past traumas and past relationships and love and acceptance. And it really talks about the idea of isolation, of the mind, of the person, of the body, of the soul. I think it is one of the best pieces of work I've read for, how do I put this? university publishing. That would be the best way to explain it. I think this is the best piece of work I've read out of any press that's come from a university, and I really am blown away by this publishing and the publication and the book itself. Everything about it is fantastic, and I am astounded how beautiful this is, and I'm so happy that I own it, and I hope to work with them again. This was stunning, absolutely stunning, and I would recommend it of the highest regard anytime you can pick it up. Each Vagabond by Name is absolutely worth the purchase. Next, ECW sent me this. This is The Clay Girl. This has officially graced one of my favorite books of all time. This is beautiful. It's by Heather Tucker. Anything she comes out with will be purchased by me. I was sent this for review. I can't tell you how happy I am I was sent this for review. This is a story of a young girl coming to terms with life. I mean, she is in the midst of depression and family chaos and mental illness and suicides and death, and she is trying as hard as she can to see the world through eyes of beauty, and she is trying so hard to hold on to that childlike feeling. And the way that it's written is so, it's hard to explain without being able to ruin it. But basically, I can remember being a child, and I wish I could remember this aspect of being a child. That aspect of things like, you know when you're watching a little kid and the kid sees a tree and they see a dragon, and they don't see a tree, they see a dragon? That's what this whole book is. It's just this little girl who's going through life seeing the magic and the imaginary and the world in a different way because she can. And it's so beautifully written and so stunning and absolutely breathtaking, and it's incredible. I love this, and I think it's absolutely a must-read. Anyone who hasn't found it yet needs to pick it up. It's now one of my all-time favorite books because it's written so beautifully, and I am hoping that Heather Tucker comes out with more very soon. I buddy read this with Miss Amanda Center, of course. This is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This took me a lot longer than it takes me usually to read this kind of book. For those of you who don't know what The Color Purple is, this is a book about a young girl who is Black and her relationship and her life, sexual traumas, sexual experiences. It does have an LGBT relationship. She gets into a relationship with a female. It's definitely groundbreaking work for when it arrived. It's groundbreaking work for a lot of different reasons. It has some really great elements of forgiveness and love and family. I really enjoyed it. I think it's still a 5-star read from the first time I read it back in high school. But it's hard for me. The sexual assault in this was really hard for me. It was tough. And if you're one who... Amanda did well with it, and she really struggles with sexual assault conversations as well. And she and I talked about this, and I struggle with the aftermath of sexual assault. She struggles with the moment of sexual assault. So when a sexual assault is highly described and gone into great detail in the book, that is when she struggles. That is when she has problems with, reading it, and it makes her stomach turn. For me, I have been there, and I've had some of the most horrendous things possibly happen to me in terms of the sexual assault. And so my stomach is a lot stronger for reading assault moments, but watching the person's brain change, shift, and their questioning themselves and feelings of inadequacy and things of that nature, that's really what's hard for me, is the aftermath. So that was a really difficult one for me to read. There is some redemption to it. There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel kind of feeling, but it was hard. It was not easy. Worth the read, 110%, but stressful. Next, we have this. This is How Does That Make You Feel? True Confessions from Both Sides of the Therapy Couch. This is edited by Sherry Amistine. Now, this one I loved, but it's written from different perspectives, and it's also written by different authors. There were some authors in this whose voices I did not like, but for the most part, it was like 98% of it I loved. 2% of it, I was like, really? Why are you talking? I don't like your writing style. There was only like 2% I didn't like the writing style. They were interesting stories, but the writing style really got me irked and made me feel really inadequate, because it was almost patronizing, or it felt like some of the stories were... There was one story particularly that stands out to me, which is a story about a woman she calls it speed dating therapists, which means like she's trying different therapists really quick all over the place. And that one really irked me, because that really disturbs the purpose of a therapist to me, to try different ones constantly, because I, for one, believe that if you don't try and stay with one for a substantial amount of time, you're not going to get anything out of it. So this was really interesting. It was really fabulous. I think it was one of the most... I think it's a really great essay collection. I think it's a really great short story essay collection. I really enjoyed it. I think anyone who has any interest in psychology, this is a good one. I was sent that for review by Seal. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a more in-depth review on that, because I don't want to... You know what I might do? I might talk to you about my relationships with therapists. We'll see. Then this is Stuff's Dreams Are Made Of, and it's edited and introduced by S.T. Joshi. This is The Weird Stories of Edward Lucas White. You remember my creepy top 5 thing? Yeah, this is not creepy. This scared the ever-living crap out of me. I was sent it for review by, I think they're called Dover Publications. Let's see. Look at me go! Dover Publications! Ah, I'm smart. Scared the crap out of me. Scared the ever-living crap out of me. This was like a mixture between all of the Stephen King meets Edgar Allan Poe. It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. It was good horror, but it was like horror, not like creepy, weird, icky feelings. Like, this was like flat out horror. Terrified me. Next, we have The Trouble with Women by Jackie Fleming. This I was sent for review by Andrews McMeel Publishing. This is it's a graphic novel, but it just talks about different things that women have been told in history, things that they are told they can't do, can do, what have you. It talks all about women in history and how they've experienced life and gone through the world. I really enjoyed it. I think it was really funny, and I think it was a really interesting way to do it. I think it was really cute. I think it had some really good points as well, for sure. But if you have a feminist in your life, this is probably going to be a really great Christmas gift. I'll put it that way. It's just a nice little piece of feminine literature. Onna, Unbecoming by Onna. This was sent to me by Arsenal Pulp Press. This is a graphic novel about a young girl who's coming to terms with, she's coming of age in England during 1977, during the time of a serial killing, and she's trying to come to terms with sexual assault, the news, things that are happening in her world, things that are happening to her, her change of body, her change of mind. It was beautiful, and it was powerful, and it was wonderful, and it was exquisite, and it was different, and I loved it, adored it. I think it's fabulous. I like the art style. Sometimes the art style changes a little bit, which is fine. It's very much a black and white palette, except for shots of color throughout, which don't happen in every page. So I really enjoyed this. I think if you are a sexual assault victim, survivor, whatever you identify as, this is a interesting one to read, but trigger warnings if you are potentially a little more sensitive. I myself am sometimes. This one I was okay with, but I had to read it 3 times before I was able to fully focus enough to get the story through my head. It took me a while because it was so hard, and I kept disassociating between. The Knife Drawer by Padrika Torrent. This is fantastic. I loved it. It was so creepy and wonderful and awesome, and oh my god, I'm obsessed. It was so good. So good. It was like all the gothic stories in the world came together in a fairy tale land where mice talk. It was fabulous. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. And I think that the thing about this that was so fantastic is it identifies on Goodreads as short story collections. I don't buy that. I think it's short story-esque feelings where, like, you're getting the opinion of people in short snippets, and you're coming back to them. So it could be conceived as a short story collection from like different perspectives, but no, this is like a novel. It's a novel in really nice snippets. This is a novel in multiple perspectives. Like, this is, in my mind, one of the best I've read this year of multiple perspectives. And I loved it so much. It was so good. It's so good. So good. Read it. If you haven't read it, this is really good. If you have it on your shelf, read it. If you don't have it on your shelf, it's hard to get a hold of. At least at a reasonable price. So, either wait till you can get it at a reasonable price, or do what I do and just stalk the crap out of it on Abe and just check every 2 days to see if it goes down to a natural price. I ended up giving up. It was really not my best moment. Not my best moment. Okay, next is Foreign Soil by Maxine Beneba Clark. This is a short story collection that itch. This is a short story collection that I really enjoyed. I think short story collections and me sometimes do not get along. This one I did okay with. I loved 95% of it. 5% of it I liked. So that's a really good ratio for me. This was a beautiful collection. It's from the perspective of a woman who is a Aussie native. So she is Afro-Caribbean, and she is darker skinned. I think, according to Western society, she would be identified as black, but I don't know how she identifies. She does identify herself as Afro-Caribbean. But anyway, this talks a lot about difference and outsiderness and the feeling of not belonging and bullying and rejection and all of those things that are very, 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 very important. I think that honestly, this is one of those short story collections that kind of did everything I wanted it to. When I went into it, I had heard about it on Mercedes' channel and I'd fallen in love with the idea, and usually when I have that happen, I go in and it doesn't go the way I wanted, but this continued to do what I wanted. I'm discovering that I really like Australian literature. I'm really figuring that out, which is nice. It's an interesting feeling because I don't really know what the difference between, why there's such a big difference between Australian literature and English literature here in the US, but there seems to be a pretty big difference in terms of quality and, not quality, in terms of enjoyment for me. Like, it feels like I really struggle to find US writers that I super enjoy. So I'm going to keep following this author. I plan to pick up her next book, which I think is already out, and I think it's called Black Voices, if I'm correct. But yes, I will be picking that up very soon. I hope. We shall see. It's going to be, we'll see, because November is going to be my month, because it's my birthday month, so it's going to be fun. All right. Anyone who knows what I just did, or the reference, just link it down below and let me know, because I love that girl. I love her to death. Alright, I will see you guys in my next video, and I will talk to you soon.